Daniel was not born into anything special. He grew up in a small village where people knew each other by name, where children ran barefoot on dusty roads, where evenings were quiet except for crickets and distant conversations. His house was small. The roof leaked when the rain was heavy. Sometimes the electricity would go off for hours. But his mother had one habit. Before anything important, she prayed. Before meals, before school, before journeys, before sleeping. Daniel grew up watching that. Prayer was normal in his house, not dramatic, not loud, just simple. One day when he was about 10 years old, he asked his mother, "Does God really listen?" She didn't answer quickly. She looked at him and smiled gently. "He listens," she said, "even when you think he doesn't." Daniel didn't fully understand that sentence, but it stayed somewhere inside him. As he grew older, Daniel began to dream bigger. He didn't want to stay poor. He didn't want his mother to struggle forever. He wanted something different. School became important to him. He studied seriously. He avoided distractions. He stayed up late with borrowed textbooks. The big entrance exam came, the one that could change everything. The night before the exam, Daniel knelt beside his bed. He wasn't crying. He wasn't afraid. He simply said, "God, if this is not for me, remove it. But if it is for me, prepare me." That was always his prayer. Simple. The next day, he walked into the exam hall feeling ready. He truly believed this was his moment. Weeks later, results were posted on a notice board. Students gathered, laughing, nervous. Daniel searched for his name. Once, twice, 3 times. It wasn't there. His heart dropped quietly. He didn't shout. He didn't make a scene. He just stepped back slowly and walked home alone. That night, he prayed again, but this time, the words were softer. "I thought this was it." No answer came. The next year, Daniel tried again. He studied harder. He avoided friends. He focused completely. And again, the night before the exam, he prayed the same prayer. "If this is not for me, remove it." Results came. He failed again. This time, it hurt more. People started talking. Maybe he's not smart enough. Maybe it's not his path. Maybe prayer doesn't work. Daniel heard the whispers. He pretended he didn't. But at night, alone in his room, doubt began to speak. Still, he prayed. Since school wasn't working, Daniel decided to try business. He borrowed a small amount of money, started selling phone accessories. It wasn't big, but it was something. Before opening his small shop the first day, he closed his eyes. "If this is not for me, remove it." The business started well. For a few months, things looked promising. Then problems came. A friend he trusted mishandled money. Suppliers delayed goods. Customers stopped coming. Within 6 months, the shop closed. Daniel locked the door one final time. He stood there for a few seconds, silent. Then he walked home. That night, he didn't pray immediately. He just lay on his bed staring at the ceiling. "Why does everything collapse?" he whispered. 5. The quiet breaking point. By now, Daniel was tired. Not physically, emotionally. He felt like life was playing a trick on him. Every time he built something, it fell apart. Every time he believed something would work, it failed. One rainy evening, he sat outside watching the rain hit the ground. He felt empty. For the first time in years, he didn't know what to pray. He felt embarrassed to even speak to God. What's the point, he thought. But even in that silence, something inside him refused to fully quit. He didn't have strength for big prayers anymore, so he said something small. "I don't understand, but I'm still here." That was all. Months passed. Daniel started noticing something strange. Even though he kept failing, he wasn't the same person anymore. He was calmer, stronger, more disciplined. The first failure had removed pride. The second removed impatience. The business failure removed the wrong friendships. He began waking up earlier. He started learning new skills online. He worked small jobs here and there. He stopped announcing his plans to people. He became quieter. Failure had slowed him down, but it had also shaped him. One afternoon, his phone rang. It was an old lecturer. "There's a training program opening. It's competitive, but I thought of you." Daniel almost laughed. Competitive? He had failed so many times. But something told him to try. Before submitting his application, he did what he always did. He closed his eyes. If this is not for me, remove it. This time, something felt different. He wasn't desperate. He wasn't begging. He was calm. Weeks later, he got the message. He had been accepted. He read it twice, then 3 times. He didn't scream. He didn't jump. He just sat quietly and smiled. The program was intense. Long hours, hard tests, pressure. But Daniel didn't break. All those years of failure had trained him. He knew how to endure. He knew how to keep going when things were hard. Others complained. Daniel stayed steady. He wasn't the smartest in the room, but he was the most resilient. For the first time, he understood something. If he had gotten this opportunity years ago, he would not have been ready. Years later, Daniel sat in his small office. Not rich, not famous, but stable. Successful in a quiet way. He remembered his old prayer. If this is not for me, remove it. And suddenly, it made sense. Every failure had been an answer. Not rejection, redirection. Not punishment, preparation. God hadn't been silent. He had been working in a way Daniel couldn't see. Final message. If you are listening right now, and it feels like nothing works, if every time you try it falls apart, if you're tired of praying and seeing no results, maybe you're not being ignored. Maybe you're being prepared. Maybe the version of you that can handle what you're asking for is still being built. Daniel didn't understand at first, but he kept going. And one day, the pattern made sense. Maybe yours will too.
One thing I know with God is that He never fails. May God give you the strength to never quit. If you believe, type Amen and comment part 2.